it seems like Indian manufacturers, the car and bike manufacturers, might be moving in a direction of BaaS in terms of their EVs. And what is BaaS? It's basically battery as a service, which means that when you buy an EV, instead of buying the battery of the EV, you rent it out. And while this in theory does seem like a good idea because the batteries of these EVs are really expensive, and depending on the model, it might be around 40% or 50% of the cost of the vehicle. And there is a worry that these batteries might uh, stop working at some point because of the way the batteries are, and that is a big deterrent when it comes to people wanting to buy EVs because they're afraid of how they're going to resell their vehicles when they're old. The vehicles are older and they want to get a new one, and they want to get some money out of this vehicle. That's how people deal with vehicles. And when it comes to EVs, how are they going to justify it, putting any price tag on it when the EV is old and the battery, if it does die and you have to put in a new battery, it's going to be half the cost of the vehicle when it was new. Or because of all that, it is a problem. And I think manufacturers are trying to convince people to buy EVs by giving this option, in which case you could buy the EV at a really cheap price. But when it comes to the overall cost of the vehicle at the end of its lifespan, at the end of this payment period, I feel like the cost might end up being the same or more. And in which case, what's the difference? I mean, sure, for some people who are really tight on, they have a tight budget and they really do want an EV, that's great. But it's really gonna make a difference. And I feel like the one thing that could make a difference for these EVs are to give it a lifetime warranty for the batteries for every owner, not just the first owner. The whole first owner getting a lifetime warranty and the second owner getting a limited warranty, that thing is ridiculous. And honestly, to me, it just feels like marketing. Because the second owner is the one who's going to be really worried about the warranty more than the first owner. So yeah, just give a lifetime warranty to the first owner and the second owner. I mean, to overall vehicle. Or just do a more practical thing of giving it a warranty of what, 15 years, or instead of just putting kilometers on it, or I guess you could put kilometers on it, but give it something realistic like 15 years and 1 lakh something kilometers, depending on whether it's car or bike. What the average car and bike would run on that lifespan, because 15 years at that point, or maybe 20 years. I think 20 years would be better, because at 20 years, even a petrol car or diesel car, it's likely going to get scrapped, because even if the car is working, there's a lot of other stuff that could break and could become a pain. So people would tend to scrap their cars, and people are used to that, having to get rid of a car after 20 years, and people are willing to deal with it. They're used to it. So give it a warranty of that. You don't have to give it a lifetime warranty. And honestly, the fact that the manufacturers won't give a warranty for this, the battery, apart from the first owner, kind of seems like they're not confident in how long the battery will last either. I mean, the limitations they put on the warranty, it's not confidence inspiring in terms of anyone who wants an EV. And honestly, the amount of money you could save in terms of fuel by using electricity, and if you have a solar panel to take electricity from, so then it's free. It is very appealing. But the fact that when you end up wanting to buy something else, you're not gonna get it. You might not get much money for this as compared to the ICE version, which you always know is gonna get a certain amount of value. I mean, even 5 lakh Maruti cars from 10 years ago, the cars that are 5 lakhs, Wagoners and all that, I still see used prices for them at what, 2.5 to 3 lakhs. So it's retaining at least half its value, and that's a big deal. And in terms of EV, can you really expect that? And because of that, it is a problem. And the whole BAS thing, I don't know, it's kind of a easier entry point, but doesn't fix the problem. And I'm wondering how much the total vehicle cost would end up being after the BAS, because when I look some of it up, I feel like it might end up costing more in the long run. So you end up paying more money, and that's money that it's gonna be hard to get back when you try to sell this thing. So yeah, the whole BAS thing, while it does sound nice and it's good for the EV buyer who wants an EV but can't seem to get it because of the budget constraints, great. But for the majority of the public who are worried about how they're going to be able to resell their car, it doesn't fix the problem. And honestly, if the battery warranty issue wasn't such a big deal, I might have looked for a used EV, because it would be so much cheaper than buying petrol these days. But that's the problem. People can't sell it and people don't want to buy it unless it's at a really cheap price. But yeah, because of that, it is a big problem. And I really think the manufacturers should just give a 20-year warranty for the battery pack. And if they don't, I feel like it might end up being because they're not confident that most of these batteries are going to last that long. And that is a problem in terms of the technology. So if that's the case, I guess the technology needs to be improved more. But yeah, that's what I think of the whole BAS thing the manufacturers are trying to use to get people into the EVs. And I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it's going to work as well as they would hope for.